Hello, my name is Daniel of Group 21. In this group is myself, Joanne, and Adrian. I will be discussing the treatment of the assets in accordance with AASB 138 for both Project C and F. Joanne will discuss the carrying amount and amortisations of Project C, while Adrian will do the same for Project F. It is worth first noting that an intangible asset is defined as a resource that is identifiable, a non-monetary asset, and without physical substance. To Project C. As Joanne will discuss in greater depth, Project C is still likely in the research stage, and as such, all costs related to it should be expensed at their payment. This project certainly meets the paragraph 55 definition of research activities. And while early indications of the project do indicate positive outcomes, it is probable that it will not meet the requirements of paragraph 59 of the AASB 138 development criteria. The consulting fees and also the engineering salaries are expenses incurred for new knowledge, as they would be expensed so as to understand the best approach to production. Purchase of testing equipment is not intangible as the asset has physical properties. The expenses related to testing chemicals likely come under 56C, which relates to research activities, and the administration salaries are generally found to not be intangible assets pursuant to 29C. While the outlook is positive for Project C, it is still in its research stage as no prototypes or models have been developed. As such, all the expenses should be written down, and there are no costs that can be capitalised within Project C. To Project F. Project F has reached the development stage, as it is clear that some of the expenses have occurred at a stage where, according to Section 55, the business WIN can identify an intangible asset and demonstrate that the asset will generate probable future economic benefits. The costs that have occurred prior to the 1st of July of 2018 can only be written down as an expense, as the final stage, which is what can be defined as the development stage, began this year. The consulting fees and engineering salaries of this year can be amortised as they come under the 28B directly attributable cost definition of professional fees arising directly from bringing the asset to its working condition. Pursuant to paragraph 62, a business's cost system can measure this reliably. The purchase of testing equipment, as mentioned previously, is of physical substance and more like a current physical asset than an intangible asset. This should be written down as an expense. The testing of consumables should be amortised as it comes under paragraph 59 of development and is a direct attributable cost pursuant to paragraph 28C. The prototype development costs come under 59A and should be amortised so long as the business can reliably measure these costs. As mentioned previously, the administration salaries are not directly related to development activities and cannot be intangible assets. They should be written down as an expense. The building industry fees should be written down as an expense as they could not be expected to bring future economic benefits to the business. As mentioned, the expenses only after July 1 of 2018 can be written down and amortised if they do meet the requirements.
Hi, my name is Joanne Faruja and I'm a part of Group 21, and I'll be talking to you about Project C's carrying value and amortisation. Project C will be an internally generated intangible asset, which means I had to determine whether Project C was still in the research phase or in the development phase, which I have determined that it's still in the research phase. The research phase is defined as an original and planned investigation undertaken with the prospect of gaining new scientific or technical knowledge and understanding. WIN started Project C at the beginning of this financial year with activities to date of testing consumables such as chemicals. Project C seems to be in the process of formulation, designing, evaluation, and final selection of possible alternatives for new and improved materials. There is no information to suggest that WIN has progressed any further into the development phase, and I cannot confidently recommend that Project C can show all of the criteria in AASB 138 paragraph 57, especially points 1, the technical feasibility of completing the intangible asset, and points 4 on how the Project C will generate probable future economic benefits, including the existence of a market for the intangible asset or where the intangible asset is to be used internally. There is no information suggesting what kind of new improvements have been made to the cladding, what new materials are being used, and whether it is actually fire retardant to withstand fire disasters. It only states that there is indications of improvements, but I do not believe that this is enough to move forward into the development phase. Therefore, it cannot be recognised as an intangible asset as per AASB 138.55 states that in the research phase, an internal project, an entity cannot demonstrate that an intangible asset exists that will generate probable future economic benefits. Therefore, this expenditure is to be recognized as an expense when incurred, and the expenditure cannot be reinstated as an asset at any later date. So therefore, there is no carrying value as the expenditure is expensed when incurred, and there is no amortization as yet, as we have not reached the further development phases. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Adrian Burke of Group 21. I'll be covering the intangible asset that is a license of Project T and talking about the carrying value amortization of the asset and why both are done to this. An intangible asset is a non-physical, non-monetary asset that is increasingly becoming more and more important in the accounting records of businesses. Project T comes under the freely transferable intangible asset as a business conducts projects in order to sell licenses for products they invent. As it stands, the carrying value of this intangible asset would be $16 million. This carrying value comes about as it is a value offered by an external party for the license of their product. This is over a 10-year agreement, which would also be amortized at $1.6 million a year as it is used up over the useful life of the license agreement. It would not be valued at their estimated $30 million, even though it has gone through both research and development phases. The research phase on its own does not warrant an internally generated intangible asset value. However, the development phase does. As it has only just completed the prototype and is not fully developed, it has to have a financial and technical backing adequate for it to be completed, as per AASB 138.57. As there is a market for the license to be sold in, and that market is suggesting $16 million instead of the $30 million that was internally generated, it is recommended that the $16 million is a value used in reports for that license. As they've rejected the offer of $16 million and there is no useful life on this license currently, there is no amortization applied to the intangible asset for this business. The $90,000 they have paid for the Builder database would also be classified as an intangible asset, as it is a non-physical asset that is predicted to draw in future clients of business, which will result in an increase in economic benefits. Whether they use it now in this project or in future projects, it doesn't matter as they have a customer database at their disposal. Finally, if they go on to produce and sell this project going forward, they would maintain an intangible asset of the license, but would also have the product created as inventory as an asset on the balance sheet. This would be due to the product being a physical product with a direct monetary value for sale.